I said, ooh.
Good evening. Be patient with me. This is my first time. But tonight I call to order the open session for board meeting on Tuesday, June 16th at 6:05. Tonight we have Dr. Chad that is going to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. So if I may please have everybody stand.
Please stand. Put your right hand over your heart. Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The board took action by a vote of 3-3 to approve a settlement agreement with student number 3008091 in the amount not to exceed $10,000 during closed session. 3-0, sorry. Again, be patient with me. Okay, we're going to start with reports, but before I start, I made a promise today. Literally been reminded that we have to be out of here early because it is Trustees Berryman's 42nd anniversary. And her husband is making her dinner, so she has to be home for dinner.
Maybe someone should let him know that.
Oh, should I text him? No. Okay. All right. I think we're going to start with our reports. Let's start with our superintendent report.
Thank you very much, Trustee Estrella. Board members, members of the audience, cabinet. I just want to say we had an incredible closing to the 25-26 school year. We had promotions at all schools for kindergarten, 6th grade, 8th grade, and our 8th graders have been seen off and they're heading to high school. I really want to thank our FSD staff, our teachers, and our parents. When we throw an event here in FSD, we throw an event. And every one of the promotions were absolutely incredible. I also want to really give a big shout out to the teams at Beechwood, Fistler, Ladera Vista, Nicholas, and Parks for the amazing 8th grade promotions at each school. And I was grateful to be able to participate in the ceremony at Buena Park High School for Parks. Absolutely amazing job, runs very smoothly, and it is incredible the turnout and the number of parents we have that come to support our students. So I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, thank you teachers, thank you staff, thank you everyone in this room and in this district office who make sure that these things take place. It doesn't happen automatically, and it doesn't happen without a lot of effort and energy on the behalf of our staff. I also want to take a moment to remind our community that just because it's summer, that doesn't mean we slow down. It certainly doesn't mean we close our doors. In reality, our staff work harder than ever to make sure our campuses are ready for the next school year, that our campuses are clean, that we're doing projects to improve and make our campuses better, and that they're ready for our first day of school on August 10th, 2026. Mark that in your calendars now, as that'll be our first day back. This summer, believe it or not, we have over 4,000 students participating in summer programs. Between ESY, Encore, Summer Stage, Speech and Debate Camp. They're at Nationals right now. Go FSD, I'm hoping for the national championship again. We also have our Gates Summer Scholars Academy, Extended Play, and All the Arts Summer Camp. Just to name a few. We also will be having some special summer stage shows. So if you want more information on that, please go to our website and get some more information. But we have so many offerings for students. If students are looking for some great summer programs, we have them available. Also, please mark your calendar now for 2 special events coming up in July and August. At the end of July, July 22nd, at Pacific Drive, we will be having a Feed the Children food distribution. We have Jenny Saul, who runs our community schools, who can give you more information on that if you're interested. And then on August 5th, we will be having our Welcome Back to School Health Fair at Nicholas. Great opportunity to come, get more information on health. We'll have some free screenings. We'll have some food giveaways. Rumor is we'll even have some backpacks to give away. So please come and join us. Mark those 2 dates. If you didn't get them down, no worries. We'll send you text messages, emails, and you can get more information on our website. Additionally, I want to thank everyone for just such a great closing to this year. And I also want to thank everyone for their hard work this summer because a very important date is coming up, Monday, August 10th. That'll be our first day of the new school year. So thank you, everyone, and we look forward to seeing all of our students, parents, and families for the start of the new school year.
Thank you so much. Now, if I have information from the Board of Trustees, if I may start with Trustee Berryman.
I'm going to ditto everything that Dr. Hammett said and welcome summer for people. We obviously are in our summer months here because we have some empty seats, but thank all of you for joining us and making sure that you were part of that. End of the year events went well. I mean, everything that Dr. Chad said, so I won't repeat that. And I think that's, the end of my report.
Trustee Alvarez.
I had the opportunity to participate at Nicholas Junior High's culmination ceremony, which was wonderful to see our community all come together and start of a new summer. And I had the opportunity to introduce Dr. Jansen at the State of the City event to our colleagues at Fullerton Joint Union High School District. Dr. Steve McLaughlin was there, and also Fullerton College, and be a part of that event. So really glad to have been able to introduce Dr. Jansen as she comes into Fullerton in the next July 1. And I will end my trustee report. Keep it short and brief today.
Thank you so much. Now, I have just a few things to say real quick. And first, I hope everyone is enjoying their summer break. But as we move through the summer months, I really do want to thank our dedicated administrators, principals, teachers, staff, and everyone who's here supporting and continues to serving our students through our 8 Encore Summer Program locations. Thank you, Jason. Since the program began earlier this month, I think we're on week two. And it has already, I've seen so many pictures and so many posts on social media that I know it's definitely a valuable academic and enrichment program for our students. And so thank you all so much for all the work that you continue to do. I also want to remind our families that there's free summer meals. Summer meals are available at all of our 8 Encore Summer schools. And it is free to anyone under 18. You don't have to apply, just show up and get free food. Also, since our last meeting, I did have the privilege to attend a few graduation and promotion ceremonies. And I do want to congratulate every student that has promoted, those of you that are joining our junior highs next year, and those of you that are leaving FSD and going to high school, including my daughter. Finally, just really quick, I do want to say that I did have the opportunity to travel to Costa Rica with our students from our Ladera Vista dual immersion program. And I do have to say, it was an incredible experience filled with a lot of learning and cultural exploration. And by that, I mean a lot of walking and hiking. But, you know, I built unforgettable memories with my daughter and with all the kids that were able to participate. And I'm sure our group leader is going to be sharing a lot of photos and videos with Orlinda. So I will wait to share them until she shares them with everybody else. But that's the end of my report. So let me see, what's next? Do we have any information from our associates? No information from our associates. All right. We are moving on. All right. Public comments. No public comments? All right, so I don't have to read this. All right, moving on. See, this is fast. All right. Yeah, it is. Regular meeting, okay, so we need to approve the minutes for today's meeting. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay. What's the word? Everyone, you have a second? We do have a second. Okay. All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. All right. Opposed?
Nope.
All right, our minutes are approved. Now let's approve our agenda.
I move to approve the agenda for this evening.
I will second that.
All right. Any comments?
Nope.
No comments. See none. We'll move to a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Seeing none, all right. We approve the agenda. Oh, was it the agenda? Sorry, moving on.
Yep.
I'm moving too fast. Hold on. Oh, we approved the agenda. All right. Now, we do have a presentation
We do.
for proposed 2026-2027 budget with Dr. Coughlin. All right. Remember, we're making this fast. We got to get Bev to dinner.
Don't worry. No pressure, you guys. No pressure.
Do it fast. I'm here to present the proposed budget. Are there any questions? No? No questions. Yeah, well, unfortunately, we're not voting tonight.
It's just informational today.
Okay. All the things. All right. All right. Well, tonight I'm going to be covering the board's responsibility with the proposed budget and adopting it. If you want to go, well, I guess I'm doing the next slide here. Let's turn this on. There we go. There we go. We're going to go over the board's responsibility. Highlights from the governor's May revise estimated our 25-26 actuals. Go over the assumptions that we use to develop the budget for next year, our multi-year projections, because we not only have to prepare a budget for next year, but for the out years. Going to give a brief review of the other funds, and finally the next steps in the budget process. Okay, here we go. And again, one of the board's most important responsibilities is adopting the district's annual spending plan. This involves reviewing the district's current financial condition, approving spending plans for all the funds, reviewing the required multi-year projections, and adopting this budget by June 30th, which the state might not do it by the 30th, but hopefully they will, but we have to approve it by the 30th. The proposed budget before you tonight fulfills those requirements. So before discussing the district's budget, I want to highlight some of the key factors from the Governor Newsom's May revision that played a big part in putting this budget together. And there's a lot of positive news in this year's May revision. Came out a few weeks ago. Prop 98 funding increased by $6.4 billion compared to the January proposal. School districts will receive a 2.87% COLA, along with an additional 1.44% discretionary increase. That comes with there's some ties to that, resulting in a total LCFF funding increase of 4.31%. The state is also proposing a significant investment in special education funding, increasing the statewide base rate from approximately $999 to $1,340 per pupil. Additionally, the governor is proposing a $5 billion discretionary block grant, creating a new paid pregnancy disability leave requirement, and increasing the Prop 98 rainy day fund to over $10 billion. And I apologize for the next, oh no, it's correct on there. In your presentation, this says page 17, but on here it's correct. So stick with this one. That was my mistake. This slide that I've prepared for you over the Prop 98 funding, this slide illustrates the significant increase in Prop 98 funding over the 3-year budget window. Overall, Prop 98 funding is approximately $6.4 billion higher than what was proposed in January. And this is positive news for school districts throughout California and provides additional funding stability moving forward. The next slide is kind of highlight some of the statewide trends. Since 2004, 2005, the statewide enrollment has declined by approximately 9%. That's that orange line up on the top up there, while Prop 98 funding has increased by more than 160%. Although enrollment continues to decline, per pupil funding continues to increase, which helps districts offset inflationary pressures and rising operational costs. As the revenue has increased and less students are in the system in California, that provides more money per pupil. So that has helped out California funding. Next one talks about the COLA, cost of living adjustment for 26-27. The statutory COLA is 2.87%. In addition, the governor proposes an extra 1.44%. We've had this before. It's been an augmented COLA, an LCFF adjustment. This additional investment is intended to help districts manage rising costs, address declining enrollment, and absorb the costs associated with a new paid pregnancy disability leave requirement. We'll talk about that in a bit. Combine these increases, it's a total of 4.31%. The state preschool program will not be getting the full COLA, 2.87. Don't ask me why. It's projected to receive a COLA of 2.01%. Special ed funding, this is probably one of the most significant proposals in the May revision, is the increase to special ed funding. As you know, that has not been fully funded. It's still not fully funded, but this is a huge increase for Fullerton School District. We estimate that the change will generate approximately $4.55 million in additional revenue, and this additional funding will help offset the growing costs associated with providing special ed services. Next one is the discretionary block grant. The governor is also proposing a statewide discretionary block grant, and based on current estimates, the Fullerton School District would receive approximately $9.6 million to be spent over a 4-year period. What we've done is we budgeted about $1.95 million over the next 4 years. Instead of spending it all in 1 year, we've spread it out, and it has helped retain some of the programs that possibly would have to be reduced if this money was not available. And some other notable investments, again, well, not again, but $1 billion ongoing for new and existing community schools. This will help some of our schools. For the Expanded Learning Opportunity Program, ensures that the rate 2 LEAs receive no less than $1,800 per ADA. So that's rate 2, that's different than rate 1. Is that correct, Jason? Yeah, this rate 2 is good for us, right? Oh, we are rate 1. All right. One-time increase of $428.8 million to extend the literacy coaches and reading specialist grant programs through 2031, and another $100 million in one-time funding for an additional round of kitchen infrastructure and training grants. So these are all parts of the governor's May revise that came out. What's happening now in the legislatures, they're hashing this out, and when the dust settles, probably in July and August, then I can come back and report what actually went through. But this is a promising, over my years I've seen some May revises that were not this good. So this is good news for public education. Next, I'd like to compare I kind of like to take, the last time I was here was at second interim, and where we were projecting at second interim to where we think we're going to end up this year with our estimated actuals. So let's see what's changed. Let's take a look at revenue. Revenue has, from second interim when I was here in March, overall unrestricted revenue has increased about $20,000, not a lot. Most of that coming from LCFF adjustments, and other local revenue. Interest was down about $50,000 for a net increase of $20,000. On the expenditure side, expenditures overall increased $80,000 from second interim, which is standard, normal, not major changes. We were already settled with negotiations, so we didn't see a huge change in expenditures. Based on our estimated actuals, the unrestricted fund will end 25-26 with an ending balance of approximately $24.4 million, and the district will experience an unrestricted deficit spending year of approximately $1.32 million. While deficit spending is never ideal, this amount remains manageable and is consistent with our long-term financial plan. This is an important slide. At second interim, I did the multi-year, and I want to point out the area in yellow because at second interim, we were projecting deficit spending for this year, coming up, 26-27. We were projecting deficit spending of $2.12 million and $3.56 million in the out year. And as you'll see shortly, the governor's May revision significantly improves that financial outlook with the additional revenues that are projected to come in. So when we put together the budget, we use assumptions based on the best known facts that we have. We utilize School Services of California and to help us prepare our budget. And so I'd like to go over some of the assumptions that we used in putting our budget together. For budgeting purposes, we project that enrollment is approximately 10,599. That's down about 280 from this year to next year. It'll be down. And again, it's not that students are moving out across the board. This has to do with we have a larger 8th grade class not being backfilled by younger kinder students. I've shared this with the board in the past. If you look at our 1st grade class now, the size of the whole cohort, it will stay that way pretty much for their entire career. Once people come into Fullerton, they don't leave. The reality is Fullerton is not I call a starter community. It's not inexpensive to move into Fullerton. And so many first-time younger families can't afford to move to Fullerton, and that's why we're not seeing that influx in the younger grades. Our funded ADA, although we're dropping 280 because we use an average, our funded ADA goes down 191. Our unduplicated count 3-year rolling average is maintaining around 60%. We talked about the COLA and the additional LCFF investment. Lottery is consistent at $272 per student. And so the increase in per ADA funding is $551. So in looking at our revenue for next year compared to estimated actuals, revenue is projected to be higher, $3.62 million than this year. LCFF accounts for the vast majority of that. That state revenue of $170,000, $125,000 of that's in transportation, and $45,000 is in lottery, and then the $30,000 would be just adjustments to interest. When we look on the expenditure side and we look at the assumptions we used, we have step and column increases for all of our groups, $1.1 million. Our current health and welfare premium caps has actually gone down $570,000. Remember last year we had a large number of retirees, and so that brought down those expenditure costs in health and welfare. Also, our STRS and PERS rates, the decrease from 25-26, again related to that savings. We did increase special ed contribution $50,000. That's a minimum. We have to do that to maintain our maintenance of effort. With special ed, we can't go down, so we increased it $50,000, and we decreased routine repair and maintenance contribution $110,000. So overall, you'll see that expenditures are projected to be 1.25% higher than this year. And when you put it all together on the next one, it has a showing for a surplus of $1 million for next year. Again, this is a 100% spend down budget. Will probably be a little bit higher, but right now we're projecting $1 million where remember back at second interim, we were projecting a deficit of over $2 million. So that's a swing of about over $3 million. We not only have to prepare a budget for 25 or 26, 27, but we also have to use the out years, 27, 28, and 28, 29. Can't believe pretty soon we'll be talking about the year 2030. So these are the assumptions that we used. Funded ADA goes down a little bit each year, 10,531 for next year, and the following year goes down to 10,301. The statutory COLA, that's not a number that we get, it's assigned, and it will change, but right now for 27, 28 it's 3.3%, the following year 3.09. A duplicated count maintains at around 60%, lottery is consistent, and then we have the LCFF per ADA amount. You can see that a cost that's just always there, whether a raise or is negotiated, is the certificated step and column increase of almost $1 million, classified step and column increase, actually just be column increase, I guess, 219,000. We have caps for our health and welfare. Again, those may be negotiated in out years, but we do have a cap. These are the unrestricted STRS and PERS rates. Those are set in statute, and we use a consumer price index for inflation in the out years, and we've used 3.18 and 2.76. This slide's probably the most important slide of the whole presentation, besides the any questions. It's the multi-year projection showing next year, and it shows basically balanced budgets all the way throughout. Surplus next year of about $1 million, almost balanced in 27, 28, and in 28, 29 a slight deficit. As a whole, the components of the ending balance, while you see $25 million, much of that money is accounted for. There's the 3% reserve for economic uncertainties. There's assigned funds for textbook adoptions when those happen, and deferred maintenance. Committed funds, many years ago, the board committed $11.5 million for future facility projects and or impact of unexpected declines in enrollment. This money will stay committed unless the board uncommits it or uses it for the purposes it was committed for. And then that leaves an unassigned appropriated amount of $3.5 million. So when people look and say, hey, you have $25 million, you can use that money. Really, the only amount on here that's available is the $3.5 million next year, and that's one-time money, because once it goes away, it would not be there in the out year. I like to show this slide, do this every year, kind of shows our ending balance of what's happened. It reached a peak in 2017. Coincidentally, that's the year that I got here. And then it started to go down. But if you look at most school districts during COVID, their ending balances went up. And our ending balance did not go up. It went down because we were one of the few districts that we were providing services to students, whether they were in person, 50-50, at home. The amount that we increased our services was amazing, and it was the right thing to do, and we wouldn't have done it any differently. The last couple years have been pretty flat with slight increases. And one of the things that we've done in negotiations in past years, when we'd have a slight increase of, say, 500,000 or 800,000, we'd go back to the bargaining units and look at that and say, hey, we had a slight surplus. What can we use that for, say, one time? It's nice when your ending balance goes up, but the purpose is to spend the money. It's okay if you have an occasional dip every now and then, but having a trend, and you can see from 2019-20 all the way down to 2022-23, we had a trend where it was going down. Those were the COVID years, and that explains that. We're pretty flat right now, which is good. We're not hoarding money. This slide is really hard to see, this next one. but it's worth pointing out. There's two lines here, and you see the blue line is certificated staff. It's the one on the top, and then the light blue is our enrollment. From 2018-19, the enrollment has gone down. You can see it going down. As enrollment goes down, certificated staff and staffing should probably go down with it. If you have less people, you have less staffing. We haven't had that. You actually see a big blip up in 21-22. We know why. Because of COVID. And, we increased RTI teachers and counselors and all sorts of, very important and needed things. We then adjusted that the following year. There's still a pretty big gap between, where we were, say, in 2018-19 and where we are now. It's not to say it's right. It's not to say it's wrong. It's just information for the board to have to say, hey, why don't we have more funds available to do some things? The board in the past has made a decision. This is where they want to spend their money. They want to put their money in staffing, even though the enrollment has gone down. So it's information for the board. As I said, it's not right, it's not wrong, it's just information that I want to share with the board. That concludes the general fund. I do want to just briefly go over some of the other, because we do have other funds, kind of like savings accounts. Think of the general fund as our checking account, and then we have other funds, like you would have a vacation fund and a Christmas fund and a holiday fund. So I want to talk about those. Fund 8 is our student activity fund. This is where all of the ASB money goes through. You can see the money that goes in and the money that goes out. It's pretty much in and out. Child Development Fund, preschool, that's Fund 12. Again, the money that comes in is about the same that goes out. The Cafeteria Fund. Cafeteria Fund has been doing very well over the last several years with universal meals. And you can see that they're projecting an ending balance this year of $10 million and next year 2.3. What happened? Well, their expenditures are going up $8 million. That's going to be their contribution. The school bond, Measure N, is another $8 million for the central kitchen, to improve central kitchen. So those are funds that they have accumulated. After that, it'll go back to the $10 million normal expenditure for Nutrition Services Cafeteria Fund. Deferred Maintenance Fund, this is something that's new. We used to have them before. It went away. It's bringing back. It's where we have to run through all of our use of facility revenue that we collect. It has to go through the Deferred Maintenance Fund. And then as we make improvements, it comes out of those expenditures. So you'll see that start to go down. Building Fund is Fund 21. This is Measure N. We started the year at $38 million, did a lot of work this year, $28 million, ending balance of 10, and by the end of next year at this time, that will be down to $500,000 or zero. It will be next year at this time where we will be receiving the next draw of money, which is $71 million. So again, it's not good for the community. I mean, the community doesn't want to just see us sitting on this money. They want to see us spending this money, and that's what we're doing. We're getting out there and we're spending the money. Next one, Fund 25, which is developer fees. 25-26, we had revenue of $2 million. Next year, not as much revenue. We don't have as much development. We had, if you think, there was some development over Lemon and Orangethorpe. There was some development up by Euclid and Rosecrans. Those developer fees that are paid, it doesn't happen every year. But next year, we're projecting less revenue. That could change, but right now we're kind of conservative on the revenue. Next one is Fund 40. We received some money for our special reserve fund, capital outlay projects. Again, it's what we receive is pretty much what we spend. Fund 49 is part of our CFDs at Fissler and Parks and area and Rolling Hills. This money comes in. Again, what comes in, we then spend it in those areas. And finally, our Fund 67, which is our self-insurance fund, basically runs at about $3 our ending balance is about $3 million, which is a requirement that we have for outstanding future obligations. So next steps. Tonight is a presentation. There'll be, after this, a public hearing. If anybody wants to speak on that. The board action is required. Board must authorize this budget by June 30th. So we'll be coming back next Monday and have the board approve this budget. And then 40 days after the governor signs the budget, and we will let you know if there were any significant changes. And with that, are there any questions before that? I want to thank Damien and Joanne, who not only changing to a new computer system, HR 2.0, has put this budget together, and the hours that they spend on this is just unbelievable. So we want to thank them for that. And with that, I'll answer any questions that you have.
I have a question on slide 27, the one where you we did the comparison for certificated staffing to enrollment.
Mm-hmm.
I mostly just have a question around how we do position control when we have any retirements, and we obviously backfilled positions, and then but how do we manage position control to essentially depict what's happening on this slide, which is that we're continuing to maintain staffing,
Right.
but enrollment is declining. Are we backfilling? Are we not? Are we taking a close consideration as we go out for a new position? What's kind of the internal fiscal operations that happens there from a human capital perspective?
That's a great question. Dr. Hammett, did you want to take?
Yes, I'd love to. That's something that Dr. Coughlin and I do very closely together. So we base our staffing projections based upon enrollment. And we use an outside demographer who looks at our enrollment and looks at what are we anticipating, not during the current year, but moving years out. And we usually go with the very conservative count on what that looks like. And then we make adjustments at every school. We give principals their new enrollment and staffing projections come January. And then we start the process of working and looking of where do we need staff to meet our contractual class size guidelines. And then we staff accordingly. Then we also look at a number of the other programs we have as well. So we look at our, for example, our RTI teachers. We look at our instructional assistants. We look at all of the other auxiliary staff that come along with the teaching staff to determine what are our staffing needs based upon our student counts. Really, our student enrollment and our student counts drives our staffing, because that's where our need is. And so we make those adjustments every year. We don't replace just one for one, and that's why you'll see on that graph that the number of staff is decreasing.
And I would say, I think our certificated staffing is higher. It really is with the RTI teachers, because if you go into many of our classrooms, they're maxed out. They're very high on the enrollment. Classes are bulging in many cases. And so a lot of it is with the RTI teachers. So I go back to that was the decision made by the board to really make up for what happened with the COVID loss and to really get these kids back on track.
We have temporary teachers. Additionally, we included in that are all certificated positions too. So that's special education staff, speech and language pathologists. That includes our counselors. So there's a lot of different certificated positions included in there that just aren't the classroom teachers, but also provide support for our students as well.
And this is what we've been talking about, that increased especially when we talk about our LCAP, right?
And COVID and
COVID.
all of the supports that
All
we
the
provide to students. Since COVID, the student needs have increased, and we need to have folks who are there to be able to support students beyond just in the classroom with classroom instruction.
And just to comment to that, I think this is wonderful. I think every time you get up here, I get really excited, 'cause it's always fun to dive into the numbers. But to that point, for the community, we see a lot of needs for special ed and how that overlays and what we're doing. And so I think it would be interesting to see also the rise of the needs in comparison to the loss that we've had with COVID-19 and also special education cases and the other funding that we have to commit to operate based on the challenges that we're also experiencing from a behavioral perspective as well. So thank you. The cost to educate, yes.
Thank you. Thank you guys for all the time and effort you've put into this. I had a couple questions. One, you made mention of the governor's May revision, and in one slide, you mentioned the fact of the deferrals. With the governor holding back the last payment.
I know, and he has done that before, and I don't know if I talked about deferrals in here.
But I think you put governor maintains his settle up proposal to underfund Prop 98, which is
That's
what I'm looking
that
at.
happened the year before.
Right.
So, right.
And it looks like it'll still happen. Looks like this budget will pass with that one last.
We'll see what happens with that.
Like $600 a student or something. Do you foresee that affecting us at all? I know it causes angst for many, many school districts. Do you think we're going to be okay if they just hold that back?
Well, I think it has to do with his holding back of the Prop 98 and kind of this manipulation that doing. My understanding is what's happening is the amount of money that's owed to public education is kind of manipulating that. And by withholding it back, the question is, are we ever going to get it?
Right.
It's a little different than a deferral. Deferrals is when they can't meet their monthly obligations and they hold that money back. We're covered there. So we're planning on this manipulation thing to happen.
And is that are you using that? Is that part of the assumptions of this?
We're going with worst case.
Good. Okay.
And so if something changes, but it's probably going to be worst case.
Another question is that with the new 14-week leave of absence, were you able to, I don't know if you have a crystal ball looking out at what would that expense look like for us? I mean, did you
right? So we
factor that in at all? And
we did.
That would cost us.
So let's say we receive an extra $1 million or 1.2. I don't know the exact amount, but we're going to get it's somewhere around there. Our substitute costs could go up as much as $400. We increase it $450,000. We just don't know. We base that on some information from School Services of California that said this is probably a good percentage that you should use. It could be less, it could be more. It has to do with, do you have a younger staff? Do you have an older staff?
You got to look at how many people you have and
so,
what the range is. The younger staff coming in now with retirees leaving, that could be quite expensive.
So I guarantee you it will not be it will either be less or more than $450,000. But could it be 300 or could it be 600? It could fluctuate maybe a couple $100,000 either way, and we'll know more as the year goes on and we'll make adjustments. But we had to pick a number. We had to start somewhere. We didn't want to be too liberal, too conservative on it, so we kind of went middle of the road, and then we'll adjust.
Okay.
If I really want to be conservative, I would have said, it's going to be $900,000, and then the amount of money that is our surplus would have been less. So I feel pretty comfortable with the amount that we budgeted.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. Yeah, the other questions I have are just later questions, not now questions.
So when I come back next week, I don't do the presentation again. But if you do have any questions between now and then, you can email me the questions and I'll share those. As always, we share those with the board. Yes.
Well, thank you. My questions have already been answered, but thank you again for putting this together. It is a lot, and it's always great to see, especially happy with Proposition 98 funding. Hopefully we get some more money for our school district. But thank you for all this work.
Right. Thank you.
Trustee Estrella, if I could just give one more shout out to Damien and Joanne and their entire team. This is truly I'll call it a Herculean effort to be able to get this budget together, and especially knowing that where we were in January changed so much with the May revise, which involved a lot of work having to redo and refigure everything, and to get all this together and to get it put in place and get it ready for a presentation that can make sense to the board and to the public and everyone else's great work. So I really want to thank both of them for their hard work, unending work on our budget and our fiscal life. So thank you so much.
You guys make it look so easy. So easy.
Okay, so if there's no more questions, no more comments, we are moving on to our public hearing. Right, okay. So public hearing for a proposed 2026-27 local control accountability plan. Now, I declare a public hearing at 6:50 to allow for public comment regarding the proposed 2026 local control accountability plan. Do we have any comments?
I always find it
Eddie?
awkward. I always find it awkward.
Hearing no comment.
I always find it awkward that we're having a public hearing on a plan in which we haven't heard yet. So
Right.
I always feel like you should
Public
hear
comment.
the plan before you have the public comment or the
Right.
public
As
hearing.
a-
But I know
as a-
that's how you have to do it.
And as a reminder, we did a update now that's required in February on the LCAP, and then we will do a report prior to approval on the indicators at our next board meeting on Monday, the 22nd.
22nd, okay. Well, hearing no comments, I now declare the public hearing closed at 6:51. Now we have our second public hearing for the Fullerton School District proposed 2026-27 budget. All funds prior to final adoption on June 22nd, 2026. I now declare a public hearing at 6:51 to allow for public comment regarding the Fullerton School District's proposed 2026-27 budget. All funds prior to final adoption on June 22nd, 2026. Do we have any comments? Hearing no comments. Hearing no comments, I now declare the public hearing closed at still 6:51.
Tried to say something to get a minute at least for you.
No, you didn't. Okay, public hearing to allow for public comment regarding the adoption of Resolution 25-26-15, approving an increase in statutory school fees imposed on new residential and commercial industrial construction pursuant to Education Code Section 17620 and Government Code Section 65995. Now, I declare a public hearing at 6:52 to allow,
In which you're not going to hear about it until 11B, right?
yep, to allow for public comment regarding the adoption of Resolution 2526-15, improving an increase in statutory school fees imposed on new residential and commercial industrial construction pursuant to Education Code Section 17620 and Government Code Section 65995. Do we have any comments? No.
Maybe later.
Maybe later. Hearing no comments, I now declare the public hearing closed at 6:53. Time changed right when I was saying it. Okay. Now, the consent agenda. There are many items in the consent agenda. Are there any items that need to be pulled or discussed before we're voting on the consent items?
I don't have anything I want to pull. I have some comments. Do you want me to make them now, or you want me to wait until you?
Let's do the first and the second.
Yep.
And then we'll do the comments.
Okay.
I move to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second.
Okay. Any comments?
Yeah, I have a few comments. First of all, I just want to make sure that the public knows, I mean, we went into the triple digits, and it's because we have so many contracts, so we're opening up our business so that our staff can do their business throughout the year. So that's why we have oodles and oodles of items on here, new contracts and renewals of contracts. I wanted to do a shout out to Hope International University. If you take a look at that, there's an MOU here that provides, I believe it's 40% of tuition for individuals, staff getting their administrative credentials, and then 25% off of tuition for other subjects. So I just think that's a great great benefit for our staff members to really take a look at, and those people that are interested in pursuing an administrative degree, now is the time to do it. I am thankful for our Fullerton Police Department, who have been working very closely with us with our safety liaison officer. And we've got that coming up. I am excited about our new CTE teachers, having that opportunity to provide real-world experience in addition to teaching our students so they can see the relevance. A shout out to our gifts, you know, in light of Hilda, who always comes up here and has us put up there. Looking at the Beechwood Foundation, they have done a very good job, the foundation and the PA, in working together to raise funds for their schools. So shout out to Beechwood for doing that. Early learning has been something that's been very important to everybody, I know, but looking at this agenda and looking at our LCAP, really focusing a lot of our time and energy and resources into early learning is evident in what we're doing here, having a TOSA there too. What else? I have a yay here for something. Oh, National Schools to Watch, Fissler, right? Woohoo! Just wanted to, is this their first time? Is this their first Schools to Watch?
Yes, it is. This is their,
Yeah.
actually, no, I'm sorry. This was a renewal. This is their
It's a renewal? Okay.
renewal, correct.
Okay, good job, good job. And even though I'm disappointed that we're leaving Cal State Fullerton for the FSD Fest, because I think that having our students be on the college campus has always been so wonderful. Having to move to the community center is kind of sad for me, but I understand why we have to do it. Accepting the innovative grant from OCDE for $525,000 for our tiny homes is awesome. So, so again, lots of things on our consent that we really, truly are very grateful for. And I much appreciate all the work that goes into this with all these things that are coming up here. Thank you.
Welcome. Trustee Alvarez?
Yes. I'm also very excited about the new job description for the CTE teacher and all of the work that has gone into that. But other item is item U, the approving the renewed federal work study placement between FSD and North Orange County Community College District. So the fact that we are a site for federal work study is innovative in a different way, because we typically in the community colleges don't have federal work study in the K-12 system. So really great work there. And just wanted to thank our school district for finding great ways to partner and be collaborative with our other education institutions.
I too have a few comments. I too also wrote on my notes about the new CTE teacher job description. So that's very exciting here because the three of us have little stars on there. But I also, and in addition to Hope International University, because I also wrote that down, I also want to recognize the agreements with California Baptist University and Biola University, in addition to Hope International, because these partnerships are providing tuition discounts, professional growth opportunities, and definitely student teaching pathways to help us here at FSD. But also, I'm pleased with the renewal of Hazel Health Services, which continue to expand access to mental health and counseling support for our students and families. And what else do I have written down here? I just appreciate the continued investment in services that support our most vulnerable students, including speech, behavioral, counseling, and specialized education services that we are approving as well today. I think those are all on my notes for the consent agenda. So do I have a vote? All those in favor of approving the consent agenda?
Aye.
Hi.
Aye. All those opposed? Okay, so the agenda passes 3-0. Now we move to
11A.
discussion, adoption resolution 2526-13, calling for Board of Trustees election to be held on November 3rd, 2026. Do I have a motion to adopt Resolution 2526-13, calling for the Board of Trustees election to be held on November 3rd, 2026?
I would ask, there was a clarification that I was trying to make on this one. On the board agenda item, it has the term ending December 15th on the actual item. And then on the resolution, the term is ending December 4th. So I just wanted to have it the same, whether it's the 15th or the 4th. I think Anna came back and said that she does it usually in conjunction with the first board meeting of the year. Is that correct?
That's correct. So
And the 4th, if I don't have my calendar in front of me. Is that the first meeting? I don't think that was, I think the 15th is the meeting, isn't it? Or when is the meeting?
In November?
In December.
Oh, in December.
I'm only, trying to find out when this term ends. I didn't mean it that way.
the meeting that night is December 15th.
So can we then have the resolution to reflect the 15th?
Yes, we can align the resolution with the board meeting.
Right, okay. So then on the first paragraph of the actual resolution itself, if we say whose terms expire on December 15th instead of the 4th.
Yes.
So making the change on the resolution.
We'll make that correction.
Okay.
Okay, any other suggestions or comments?
So with that, I move to adopt Resolution 25-26, calling for the Board of Trustees election to be held on November the 3rd with the change in the resolution wording.
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Seeing none, resolution passes 3-0. Now we move to adopt Resolution 2526-15, approving an increase in statutory school fees imposed on new residential and commercial industrial construction pursuant to Education Code Section, wait, am I repeating this? No, I'm doing it right. Code Section 17620 and Government Code Section 65995. Do I have a motion to adopt Resolution 2526-15?
I think we have a presentation. Do you have a presentation on that?
It's just if there are any questions, this is an item that comes up every 2 years.
This was your.
Developer fees are charged on new building, residential, commercial, industrial. Currently for residential, it's $5.17 a square foot for residential and 84 cents for industrial commercial. We share that fee with the high school district. We receive 2/3 of it, and the high school district receives 1/3 of it. The proposed rate increase, which is the maximum allowable by law, would be to go from $5.17 to $5.38, and to go from 84 cents to 87 cents for industrial commercial.
Okay. Do we have any questions? No?
I'll-
Do I have a,
Oh, I was just going to say I'll make the motion.
Oh, yeah.
do I have a motion?
I'll make the motion to adopt Resolution 2526-15.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, and all in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Seeing none, resolution passes 3-0. Now we're going to adopt Resolution 2526-16 to establish temporary interfund transfers of special or restricted fund monies.
And again, this is an annual resolution that we bring to the board. It gives us the flexibility if we need to borrow from any of our other accounts that I shared with you. We can do that. It's temporary fund borrowing. It has to be paid back. And the reason why this is done is because we don't receive our money from the state or federal government all at one time. And there are times when it's even deferred. So in order to keep getting people so they can be paid, we need the ability to do short-term borrowing from our own funds.
Okay, so do I have a motion to adopt Resolution 2526-16?
I'll make the motion to adopt Resolution 2526-16.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Nobody? Seeing none, resolution passes 3-0. We move on to D, adopt Resolution 2526-17 regarding the Education Protection Account.
And as a result of Proposition 30, which was passed back, I believe it was in 2012, they established an EPA Educational Protection account. What happened back in 2012 was before Proposition 30 was passed, which brought in more money to the state, they said, okay, we're going to do this, but this money has to be used in a particular way. And it can only be used for salaries, and so you have to tell us how you're going to use that. It wasn't necessarily new money, it was money that we were already receiving. It passed, they just gave us this requirement. So it's not additional new money, this is a reporting requirement that we have to do every year by passing this EPA.
And we can't use it for administrative fees. It's
Correct. It's for, and so we list the report is in there, it lists what the fees or what the salaries are charged to.
Okay. Do I have a motion to approve?
I approve. I motion to adopt Resolution 25-2617 regarding the Special Education Protection Account.
Is there a second?
I will second the motion.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
Nope.
Seeing none, resolution passes 3-0. We're moving on to E. Approved declaration of need for fully qualified educators for the 26-27 school year. Do I have a motion to approve?
I will make the motion to approve declaration of need for fully qualified educators for the upcoming school year.
Do I have a second?
Second, but Chris, don't you want to say something?
This is just our annual declaration that states that we will exhaust all efforts in order to find the appropriate teachers with the appropriate credentials in the difficult positions like special education and other areas. But if the need arises, we would be able to put in emergency credentials for those individuals. So
Thank you.
Thank you. Do I have a motion to approve? That was you made a motion. Do we have a second?
Second,
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
on that great
Aye.
information. Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none, resolution
Off the-
passes 3-0. We're on a roll here, people.
and then we're looking to approve for F, the pupil attendance calendar for 27-28. It was presented last week or last board meeting, and the corrections had been made prior to the board meeting for anyone who had topics that they were concerned about.
Okay, so do I have a motion to approve?
I move that we approve the pupil attendance calendar for the 27-28 school year.
Okay, is there a second?
I will second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Seeing none, we approve motion E, 3-0. Letter, it's E.
F.
F.
Oh, it changed. Oh, F, sorry, there's two E's. Okay, so F, repeating E twice. Okay, so are there any future items that the board would like to ask for?
None for me right now.
None for me.
Look at that.
All right, we're rolled record. All right, so I move for adjournment of this meeting. Our next regular board meeting is scheduled for Monday, June 22nd.
Monday.
Monday.
Monday,
You're on
not
here.
Tuesday, Monday.
6 days. 6 p.m. It's 6 days a week.
Tonight's board
Be you be here.
is adjourned at 7:08.
I get to go to
Good night. You will be there at 8, sitting on your table for dinner. See?
Should I have an anniversary every week? I'm going to have an anniversary every month.